So we're going to start first without the bell. And we're going to start first without anything. The reverse Turkish get up. Arm starts straight overhead. Let's start with the left arm. I'm going to reach down the opposite knee. I'm going to reverse lunge with the opposite knee. This is called our half kneel. All right, so our half kneel. The next part is called the pivot. So you can pivot either by moving the front foot open or pivoting the back knee closed. And when I do this, I find it just depends on the surface you're on, but the goal is the same. I now have a perpendicular position with both of my legs. One knee is pointing this way and the other knee is pointing this way. And that's the goal of this pivot, because the next part is the windmill. Hand is going to be across the chest, the hand that we're not using. I am going to hinge, which means my butt comes back to the heel, and I'm going to spiral, which is going to be through the hips and why we have this knee open. And then from here, I'm going to reach down to the ground into the post. So I'm going to come back to this windmill position so that this is understood. The hand across the chest, we've worked on this position with some of the swings, but what it does, I want you to think about the elbow coming down between the legs, because the most common fault here is to just reach out to the side, right? So I want you to avoid doing that by thinking about the elbow coming down between the legs. So this part here, down and up, bring that elbow, it doesn't have to touch the ground, but I want that movement coming down towards the ground. As I've hinged, I'll show you on this side here. So as I've hinged, my hips come back and I've spiraled here. Now I am in a safe position. My back is nice and straight, and now I can touch the floor. Now the floor is also the one constant here. The floor is not going to move on you, so you don't need to look at the floor. So let's go to that half kneel. I'm going to windmill and then get into my post. All right, so the post here is our transition from the top half to the bottom half of this Turkish get up. The post, hand is down onto the ground. I've got a bit of a tripod, knee, foot, and hand, and now I need to sweep into the Turkish sit, or the half sit. Okay, and this position, we're going to come back to the shoulder now. Is your shoulder rounded forwards, or is it packed? So you want to pack that shoulder. Now let's go back from this tall sit. Okay, so this tall sit to, I said half sit, but it's called a tall sit. I want to screw that shoulder in the socket, bridge, and sweep into the post. All right, so the drill here is bridge, sweep, and now we're going to reverse it. Sweep, and then down into the tall set. All right, now paying attention to that shoulder. Don't allow the shoulder to roll forwards. I also don't want you moving your hand right now, so we can focus on that shoulder. So I'm screwing that shoulder in the socket, bridge, sweep, sweep, tall set. Good. Okay, so now we're going to stay in this tall set. I am going to lie back onto the forearm. So lie back onto the forearm, or think about lying to the side onto the forearm. So now we have shortened this lever, get a little more stability, and then I come down onto the ground in the reverse sit-up. So now we're at the bottom of this get-up. I want a nice stable base. So you don't want your feet close together. You want them still fairly wide apart. Arm is up. Now with the bell, I'm going to bring the elbow down, I don't have the bell, and go into a floor press and push up like so. All right, so that is my floor press. If I bring the elbow down, press up. That's the bottom of the movement. Now we reverse it, we come back up. Arm is out to the side. This is called a Turkish sit-up, but a bit of a misnomer because I'm not sitting up, I'm rolling over to the forearm. I want to roll to that forearm, and now I'm on the forearm. From the forearm, I'm going to do this little scooch into the hand. So I want to go up like so. Now, paying attention to that shoulder, because Hillary, I'm seeing yours. Gabby, I can't see from the angle, but that shoulder is not secure. So when we talk about a packed shoulder, when you come from the forearm to the hand, you then have to screw that shoulder into the socket because you're about to put a lot of force into the shoulder. All right, so from that forearm, I come up into the tall sit, screw that shoulder in the socket. So forearm, tall sit, and screw that shoulder into the socket. Then next part here, We've done this a couple times now. I'm going to bridge, sweep into the post. See that one? Good. And now I'm going to reverse windmill. So my hand stays on the ground, my butt comes to the heel, and then I hinge back up. All right, so when you're in this now, this is called the half kneel. So go ahead, stay in the half kneel, but I want you to see a common mistake here. From the post, trying to push up. You do not want to push up off of this arm on the ground. I want to hinge and then bring myself up. Okay, so that hinge forwards, like so, is where we can safely get from our post to the half kneel. Now we pivot back and then stand up. Good. Okay. See, tough enough without any weight. So let's do it on the other side. This will be a little bit quicker. The concepts, understanding each position is critical because you need to be able to watch the kettlebell or see where your hand is while moving through all these complex movements. So let's go through this. I want you to try and go through the whole thing just listening to my audible cues. I'm going to do it as well, but let's start first. Our start, right arm's overhead now. My left knee is going to come down. This is what's called the half kneel. I am then going to pivot, windmill, post, sweep, tall sit to the forearm, down to the ground, floor press, and I'll wait for you here. Okay, from our base position, we're going to roll to the forearm. We're going to shimmy up to the hand, screw that shoulder in the socket. We're going to bridge, sweep into the post, reverse windmill, hinge, and then I'm going to pivot and stand back up. Good. All right. We're ready for the shoe. Take a shoe off, or both, for symmetry. Let's start with the initial hand. Okay, and no cheaters here. It's on the fist. Don't put your thumb on here. All right, I've seen it all. Okay, shoe on the fist. So up, overhead. All right, left arm's overhead, right knee down to the ground. Pivot. Now from this point forwards, I'm going to look up at the shoe. Windmill, post, sweep to the tall sit, down to the forearm, down to the ground, floor press. Now I go through the Turkish Sit-Up. Helps take a big breath in here. Forcefully press into that brace, into the forearm, shimmy to the hand, screw that shoulder in the socket, bridge, sweep, hinge, pivot. Now I can look forwards and then stand up. And from here, switch sides. Now with the bell, how we would switch sides is just do an alternating swing. Okay, on to your good side now, before we get some live ammunition here. So back knee, you say back knee is now your left knee. So it's always the opposite from what's overhead. I am going to pivot. Now I want you on this one, I've been getting you to put your hand across your chest, but you don't necessarily need to do this. If you understand how to do the windmill, you don't need to have the hand on the chest. I want to windmill, find the floor while looking up at the fist, sweep into the tall sit, down to the forearm, down to the ground, floor press, and let's repeat that. Roll to the forearm, stay braced, screw that shoulder into the socket as you shimmy up to this tall sit, bridge, sweep, hinge. That's okay. Now, what happened on that one, Hillary? I saw the whole thing. You started twisting your shoulders. You were not packed and you were not braced. And you went from your post without a lot of support. But it's a good thing it's the shoe, right? Not the kettlebell, which is why we do this. And then from here, pivot, stand up. And then we're going into the kettlebell. What's important is that you've gotten some reps, even without weight. And in fact, you're going to find a light bell is easier than the shoe because you can always grip it. What just happened there, you're going to grip it. So let's now go through with the bell our reverse Turkish Get Up. And it's called the reverse Turkish Get Up because we're starting from the top. And starting from the top makes it easier. That bottom portion can be tricky, getting all the set up. All right. So I'll do 1 rep, and then you are going to alternate. You're going to do 3 reps per side. So 6 total reps, including this first one. And I'm going to watch and critique. Here we go. Clean. I can get that bell overhead any way I'd like. Feet come together. Arm that's overhead. Opposite knee comes down. Pivot. Windmill. Looking at that bell. Sweep. That tall sit. Forearm down to the ground. Floor press. Come back up to the forearm. Up to the hand. Screw that shoulder in socket. Bridge. Sweep. Hinge. Pivot. And then I'm back up. Don't worry if you're not going at my pace. I just want you to be comfortable with those audible cues.